There's a great scene in the film where you have a dialogue where you talk about the first time you met the dragon, and you say that there was a magic in that moment, and you say that magic changed the way you viewed the world. It affected you the rest of your life, the way you viewed things. And I'm wondering, do you have a moment like that in your own life where something that magical happened that essentially changed the way you saw life and the way you saw things?
I did. It came to me in a way that made me realize how important that word was. Because if you grew up in the neighborhood I grew up in was very lower working class, so there was not much, there was no entertainment. You had to walk to a theater, didn't have a car. You could read, but you were too young to read, so my parents were readers, and so the only thing they could afford was to go to the library on a Wednesday night, so they would take me along because we couldn't afford a babysitter. So I was turned into the children's section, Raphael Sabatini and those characters. And all the stories in the children's section were about a life bigger than the one you were living in. And I got really taken with that. And the idea of fantasy, the idea of seeing a world larger than your own, is where the magic was. Because magic meant there was something unattainable. You couldn't quite get a hold of it. It was just something special and weird and wonderful. And I just love that idea. So I think probably from the time I was a little kid, the word magic was a very important thing for me, the idea of it. So to be able to grow up and to be able to create that or to tell stories that had a magical component to it, I think was just exciting.
Yeah, one thing I love about your career is looking at you before you were a director and after you were a director. I mean, you look at Ordinary People, 1980, classic. It was your first movie you directed. And then before that, you're making films like Sting, obviously Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and then after that you have classics like I Love Spy Game, Out of Africa, so many great films. And I'm wondering, when you became a director, did it change you as an actor at all in the sense of like, did you find yourself becoming a different type of actor once you directed Ordinary People?
I don't think so. I think what it was for me was it was a surprise because two things came together that I wasn't expecting. Before I became an actor, I was an artist, a painter. I wanted to be a painter. And through a series of serendipitous turns, I ended up in the performing arts. And for a period of time, I always regretted that I left art behind to become an actor. And so I regretted that, and I had a hard time really enjoying being an actor because I thought, I should have maintained that art career. I felt I had left it behind. It made me sad. And then in 1980, when it came time to do my first directing job, I suddenly realized it was a joyous time because you do your own storyboarding. You design your own work as a director. You design the work you're going to direct. And I realized, there's two things have actually come together. So that was a big moment. That was a wonderful surprise.
This is a super nerdy question, and I absolutely loved you in Captain America: Winter Soldier. And I have to ask you, there's a moment in that movie where you walk up to your fridge and you open it up, and in your fridge is Newman's Own spaghetti sauce.
That's right.
And I have to, this is such a ridiculous question, but have you ever actually gone out and purchased like Newman's Own like salad dressing?
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? No, I like good food. No, there's I'll tell you a funny story though. You ready for a funny story?
Please, yeah.
My wife and I were at a restaurant in Napa Valley, and there was a table next to us with about 7 people, and they kept looking over and commenting. And so I thought, we're not going to be left alone. They're going to come bug me and so forth. And sure enough, this guy comes up from the table. He says, "I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but we're all here. We're such fans. I just wanted to tell you how much we love your work." And I said, "Well, thank you." He said, "And we love your salad dressing."
They thought you were Paul Newman? Now did you correct him or you let him go?
No, I was so stunned, I just stared into space for a while. But it was a great moment. It was a great moment.
That's awesome.